attacking and blocking in Heaven versus Hell. So when you decide to attack your opponent, you're going to declare what creatures you want to attack. For me, I have 4 Templar runners and actually want to attack with all 4 of my Templar runners. So I'm going to tap, and then once I tap my creatures, I'm going to decide, okay, do I want to attack individually or in a group? So what I'm going to do is look at what my opponent has. He has 4 creatures, he has 4 Templar runners just as me, equal, so it doesn't really matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to decide to attack individually. So once I announce the sequence order, which I already set up, so this is sequence 1, sequence 2, sequence 3, and sequence 4. Now let's declare our blocker so I can show you. So when combat is happening, you start with the sequence 1, and these creatures do fight first. So these 2 fight first. They're both 1/1s, so they have the same power in life, and they will both die. And then after sequence 1 is done, then you go to sequence 2, which is these Templar runners here. They both die, and they both die. So you just go down from left to right. So that's how the order sequence always happens. So there's a lot of tricks to it. You can play spells in between the first and the last one. For a good example, let's say that he wants to keep one of his runners, but only wants to block 3. So all these creatures here will die off. But my 1 Templar runner that's attacking actually gets through. And if I have a spell in my hand that gives creatures +3/+0, I can pump up my Templar that got through, and he becomes a 4/1, and then I do 4 damage to his library. So I sneak it in. I get 4 in on him, and all this cards go into his graveyard. So there's a lot of ways, and then the same with the blocking. Yeah, you can block individually or in a group. So when it comes to attacking into a group, it's a little bit much different. So when you attack, you have choices to attack individually or in a group. So now I'm going to attack in a group and put all my Templar runners together, and I want them to attack together in a big group because let's say that he has a creature that's a 4/4. I know this Templar runners are 1/1. The power and life is on the bottom right where the sword and shield is at. On the bottom right, but let's say this is a 4/4 creature, and I have all these Templar runners. I'm like, okay, he has a 4/4. What am I gonna do? And I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna attack in a group. So I'm gonna take all my Templar runners. We're gonna attack in a group, being a power. It's basically gonna be 4 power and 4 life, matching the 4/4 creature that he has, and we're gonna risk it. Is he gonna block or not? And then the opponent has to decide, okay, well, do I want to keep this creature or not? And he's going to be like, you know what, I want to keep my 4/4 for something I'm going to do my next turn, and then bam, you can do 4 damage to his library. So, and that's attacking in a group. So there are some drawbacks when you attack in a group. So what he can also do is if he has this 4/4, right? And he has his Templar runner. Your opponent he has a 1/1 and a 4/4. Your opponent has 2 choices. He can make 2 choices. He can make 2 plays. He can just throw the 1/1 into this group, and then that's it. That's it. Even though this Templar runner will die, and you have all these creatures attacking in the group, they do not have trample, so they do not hit the library, and then that's it. So he just chump blocks. It's called chump blocking. So he just chump block and boom, that's it. That's all the combat damage, all that stuff, any extra damage from this group will not get through because he chump blocked and basically kind of like a distraction. So the rest of the other Templar groups to do 3 damage to the library does not happen. Another case of scenario, which is really, really bad, is that he can actually group block. When he chooses his blockers, he can actually throw the 1/1 first into the group and then put the 4/4 behind it. So what happens is the 1/1 will kill off when battle happens. These 2 die off, and then the 4/4 will actually kill the rest of these 3/3, and the 4/4 will still live because the 4/4 will still have 1 life left. So you got to be careful when you attack in a group, and it's the same when you attack individually as well. There's so many scenarios that happens during tacking and blocking. And I hope that was a little easy summary. Don't stress too much of getting this combat down. I'm going to be teaching the community. I'm going to just, it's going to be, trial and error every day to get this through and take time. But once more of us are more educated and I'm able to share the information more clean and better, because it's kind of hard to do in a video. It's kind of like on a hands-on thing. Once we get there and we get this thing rolling, just all I want you guys to do is just have fun. Don't really stress about the rules. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll do the whole tournament thing. We will work on one thing at a time. But I'm so glad that you guys are here, and we have so much to discuss, and I can't wait to play against you guys. I'm very excited. You guys have a wonderful day.